Hi, my name is Carly, and today we are continuing the candy theme for this week's group. Our candy of the day is a 100-gram bar, and it will represent planning our futures. Before we get started, I have a quick icebreaker to go with the theme, so you can pause the video and take a moment to think about it. The question is, if you have 100 grand, what is something you would love to do, not necessarily something you need to do? For example, something I would need to do would pay off my student loans, but that's no fun. So something I would love to do is own a ranch in Montana. Now I'm going to let the UAB occupational therapy students introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Megan, and something that I would love to do is go on a nice beach vacation. And something that I need to do is, like Carly said, pay off student loans.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie, and something that I would love to do is build a personal library.
Hey, my name is Danae Baker, and something I would love to do is go on vacations all the time.
Hi, my name's Maggie, and something I would love to do would be to travel the world and try all the different types of foods.
Hi, my name's Hannah, and something I would love to do is go to Disney World all the time.
Today, the purpose of this group is to mention the importance of planning for now so you can be prepared for later. We will be talking about the importance of your future and reiterating the importance of your own self-care and what to do if other factors prevent you from being a long-term carer. Speaking of self-care, I want you to take another minute and think to yourself, what self-care activities did you do for yourself this past week? If you can't think of any, try to implement moments such as taking a minute to breathe or journaling. Today, we will also talk about how to build a support system that includes healthcare providers and knowing what to ask them long-term. We will talk about different care options, including long-term care and respite care, and what your barriers may be for looking into these options. At the end, we will discuss ways to help you overcome some of these barriers. I just want to briefly mention that this topic may be heavy and emotional, and I want to remind you that you are valid to all your thoughts and feelings. And like a previous group said, there are no wrong feelings here. On that note, I'll pass it to Megan to explain the day's activity.
Okay, so for this session, we're going to be filling out a vision board for our future. Throughout the session, we'll be discussing each topic of the vision board and filling them out as we go through the slides. So step one, you can go to the next slide. Step one, this is our goal. When we bite into a candy bar, other than finishing the candy, our goal is to get into the yummy inside. So this is where we're going to write down our goals for the future. Step two, that is stick together. So like the stickiness of the caramel, we have to find people to stick with us through our journey. And they're going to help us reach our goal, and when it comes time for us to fill this out, we will write it down in that spot. So step three, that's the hard part. The hard part is the barriers that keep us from reaching the goal. And like in the candy, the hard part is the Rice Crisp. And we're going to write that in our barriers in the Rice Crisp of the candy bar. Okay, so step four, that's the sweet part. The sweetest part of the candy is the chocolate. So like the chocolate running over the hard parts, we can come up with things to overcome our barriers. We will write these things on the chocolate part of the candy bar. So before moving on, you can pause the video and take some time to write down our goals. I think you're muted, Mackenzie.
Sorry about that. Today, I'm going to be discussing the caramel, which is the sticky part, which is our support systems and how to build those and where we can look for support when we are working towards our goals and visions for the future. So support systems are the people, groups, and organizations that caregivers can contact for assistance for their loved one. This can include physical supports like transportation, their physical presence, and assisting with home management tasks like sweeping, mopping, doing the dishes, anything that can help you physically and take some of that load off of a caregiver. Resource support is another option, and that's something that you can receive from your service providers like physicians, clinicians, occupational and physical therapists. That can be information and community resources that you may reach out to support your loved one. And finally, emotional support, which is what we typically think of when we are considering support systems of friends and family members. They can listen to you, support you, and encourage you positively. One thing I do wish to discuss before moving on is how when we are receiving support from our friends who are outside of our situation, sometimes they have difficulty seeing things from our point of view as caregivers, and we only want to receive positive encouragement, and we do not want to allow others' opinions to sway what we truly think is best for our loved one. So we can choose our friendships and our support systems in that way very carefully in order to best serve our loved one and to serve ourselves, because we don't want that extra stress and anxiety to be incorporated into our caregiving and lives. So the first type of support that we discuss is family support. Consider the ways that your family members provide support or could provide support for you and your loved one in the future. The family will be at the center of all of your decision making, and they will help motivate you to plan for future events. So you can write down some of your family supports in those spaces on your candy bar sheet. The next type is peer support. We may seek support from our friends and community and church members who are not directly involved in your caregiving, and they can result in healthy and direct conversations that may allow you to see an issue from a different point of view. Again, we do not want to receive negative feedback from those unless it is a serious situation. We only want to receive positive supports from our family. You can share your concerns and thoughts with friends as a great way of regaining your perspective from your situation, and make sure you seek support without judgment. And another great resource is your service provider team, who can provide those resources for you, your general care physicians who are able to order home health services for their patients if they meet certain criteria, neurologists, counselors, and psychologists, which are provided by AHIF, the American Head Injury Foundation, or Alabama Head Injury Foundation, behavioral specialists who can address negative behaviors that may prevent opportunities for care provision later. Physical and occupational therapists, as well as speech language pathologists, are great resources to seek out support from. And finally, a brief discussion of care options. There are respite care facilities that can help support you and your family members. AHIF does provide these services, and there are a few other locations that you can look at, such as the National Respite Locator that will take you to the Alabama Lifespan Respite Resource Network. National Adult Day Services Association in Tuscaloosa is another great resource. And then there are websites like care.com and then home health seekers on Facebook that will make sure that you have a background check, care checked nurse or caregiver who can help support you when it is necessary. There is an additional form there for download that should be provided by AHIF, and it is a great resource for looking at criteria for these respite care centers.
Okay. What to look for in what to look for in a nursing or long-term care homes. So there are a lot of things to look for, such as what is available in the area. You want to make sure that you're close to your loved one as possible, or that the home is close to a trusted family member that will be there to support your loved one. What are the options considering prices / insurance? Most medical and disability insurance policies, including Medicare, don't cover long-term care, which is why most people who enter nursing homes start by paying out of pocket. This is something that you don't want to have to do. There are several other ways you can pay for nursing home care, which are listed in this link I have provided. They include Medicaid, long-term care insurance, or personal resources such as life insurance policy. What is the quality of care? The staff members at the facility are going to be the ones ensuring your loved one's safety, and their attitude, expertise, and professionalism is extremely important. It is vital to ask plenty of questions and spend some time observing the staff before making a decision. Another way to ensure quality of care is to reference online federal ratings, which can be found using the link below. The overall rating is based on a nursing home's performance on 3 sources: health inspections, staffing, and quality measures. Some perceived barriers to finding a long-term care nursing home is having a sense of guilt. When family members know their loved one is unhappy with living in a nursing home, it can make them feel guilty, or breaking a promise that you would never let your loved ones end up in a nursing home. Also, finances: will I be able to afford the care? Aging in place, which is essentially what most of you all are doing. Aging in place can be defined as the ability of a person to live in one's own home and community safely, independently, and comfortably, regardless of age, income, or ability level. Although aging in place can be beneficial for your loved one, it can take a detrimental toll on the caregiver because of increased responsibilities due to your loved one living at home. Also, behavioral concerns due to traumatic brain injuries can be a perceived barrier.
Okay, so next is the chocolate, which is the sweet part. So this is how you can overcome those barriers that we previously spoke about and plan for a better future. So some ways to overcome these barriers include having clear communication. And this is you communicating your needs to the person that you're taking care of or to anyone around you, because it's okay to have needs for yourself while you're also trying to take care of someone else's needs. It's also good to have a support system with, a healthcare team, and also like other family that could possibly take your place if someone needed to, or just someone to talk to, a church, just anyone that will support you on this journey. And then also a healthcare team, like I previously mentioned, just like different physicians that you may need and that you could be in contact with in a second if you needed to. So just having that in place is really good. So also self-care, like Carly mentioned earlier, and that could be anything from taking a walk outside to having good nutrition, meditating, doing yoga, just doing whatever gives you peace of mind for a little time out of your day will really help with stress. And then having a plan and a backup plan. So this could be, you would want to have someone in mind. So if you were to get sick and you couldn't provide care, it would be good to have someone that could be in your place and also provide care. Also, certain documents you want to have in place, like a will or power of attorney. Having those documents in place beforehand will help reduce stress later down the road. Also writing down like where important documents are or important passwords, just so you have those all in one place and know where they are if you need them or if someone else needs them. And then also having finances in place. And so you basically want to get all of this together and have it possibly written down. So if someone were to take your place, they would be able to jump in and make it as easy as possible for them. Also, working with a behavioral therapist could help as well by managing certain behaviors. I know it may be hard to find care for your loved one if certain behaviors aren't managed. So working with a behavioral therapist would be beneficial. And then also having adaptive equipment in the home or adaptive devices, which an occupational therapist can help with that. And then also looking to the community for financial support for that equipment, or if you needed to look for outside care for your loved one. So you can take a moment and write down some ways to overcome those barriers.
Okay, so lastly, we're just going to close it out. So we just want to remind you that sometimes we can perceive even ourselves as barriers. So what are some things that you think you could write down to motivate yourself? We just want to reiterate that your mental health and your self-care matters. So throughout the day, you could write things like small things down, like even on a sticky note, and stick it on your mirror every morning while you're getting ready and say, today is going to be a good day, or I got this, just to have little reminders to encourage you throughout the day. Being a caregiver can be difficult, and it is important for you to take care of yourself and plan for the future. So we just want to keep reminding you to plan for now so you're prepared for later. Remember this activity when you ever need to plan for your future to help you stick together with service providers or other caregivers. It will have hard times, but you can overcome your perceived barriers. We want to thank you all so much for listening to us, and we hope that this PowerPoint is helpful.